Kingdomino is a tile-placing strategy game that lets you match wits against an AI opponent, or you can opt for a multiplayer option. 2 to 4 players can play together using Play and Pass locally, or they can join a public or private online lobby. Let's start by going through the tutorial to learn the ropes, and then we'll look at some of the other features and options. This is King Bruno. He's going to guide us through the tutorial and teach us the basics of Kingdomino. We get to go first, and the game suggests that we select the top tile. The dominoes are sorted by value, with the least valuable tile at the top. Choosing the top tile means I'll get to choose first on the next turn. Of course, that means that King Bruno is going to be taking the higher value tile, which will help him score more points. King Bruno will choose his second tile, and then I'll get the final available tile. This tile has a crown on it. Crowns help to build your score. All of the connected tiles of the same type form a territory. At the end of the game, each territory has the number of tiles in it multiplied by the number of crowns in that territory, and that value gets added to your score. You can place any type of tile next to the castle, but after that, you have to match the different types of territories in order to be able to place a domino. You don't have to match both sections of your tile, but at least one has to be connected to another one that matches. And if you can't do that, then you don't get to place your tile that turn. That's essentially the basics of gameplay here in Kingdomino. Let's jump ahead toward the end of the tutorial to see how that played out. As you can see, I focused primarily on the lake territory, and I have 4 crowns on tiles in that area. That's really what's driving my score. You can see that I'm at 44 points, and King Bruno is at 35 points right now. We're almost to the end of the game, so let's see how that finishes up. At the end of each game, the territory points are assigned on the overall scoreboard, and you'll be able to see all the different components and what led to your score. The Gold Rush daily quests in the lower right corner seem to have both daily quests as well as a longer running event where you can earn rewards along the event track. The currency awarded for some of the daily quests is used in this Lost Kingdom section on the left-hand side of the menu screen. At this point, I don't have any currency for that, so we'll have to come back once we have some and see what that does. We'll head back out to the main menu and go into the achievements section. It looks like there are a lot of achievements available, which is great because for some reason, playing games and getting achievements is just something that brings me joy. So it's great to see so many opportunities for joy here in Kingdomino. It turns out by redeeming some of the achievements that I had earned, I got the currency needed to go back into that Lost Kingdom. Let's jump back into that and see what happens when we spend some shards. So by spending the required amount of shards, we create a domino, which looks very beautiful and ethereal. Unsure what to do with it, I just placed it on the board, went ahead and confirmed, and then it turned into some tiles that look a little more familiar from the gameplay that we just did. I'm not exactly sure how this whole board works and the goals of it, but we'll learn more about that as we keep playing the game. Now that I've made it past the tutorial, I feel ready to try my hand at some gameplay, either single player or in a public lobby. I think I will start with single player against an AI opponent. There are 2 art styles available to choose from when you play. There's the new visuals, which we just saw in the tutorial, and then there's the classic visuals, which I'm going to go ahead and choose for this game. Now, this game has an extra rule set for points. Gain 10 extra points if your castle is in the center at the end of the game. In the upper left, you can see the map with the castle currently in the center. So the goal will be not to build the kingdom too far in any one direction and push the castle out of the center. Those extra 10 points may not be worth it depending on what your different tiles are throughout the game, but I think I'm going to try to keep that strategy in mind of focusing on that extra rule set just to help me think about the game in a couple different layers while I'm trying to play. You can see that the very first tile that I placed ended up pushing my castle a little bit to the side, so I'll have to place on the other side to push it back. Let's go ahead and jump forward in time closer to the end of this match and see how I'm doing with that goal. I did manage to work the castle back to the center of the board, so at this point in the game, very focused on keeping it there and not moving it out of the way since I put so much effort to get it back there. Let's go ahead and watch the final turns of this game. Right now, the score is pretty close, and those 10 points from that extra rule set might be clutch in determining whether or not I win or lose this game. Well, game over. Now for the final tallying of the scores. You can see that it's tallying each type of territory one by one and filling in that scorecard, and then down at the bottom is that special rule set that gives me that extra 10 points right there. Okay, so technically I could have won without that extra 10 points, but that was close. It looks like some achievements and possibly some daily quests were completed by playing that game, so let's go ahead and collect all of our winnings for the different activities and see where we're at. Okay, that was a fair number of achievements, and we did get enough currency to go back in and create another domino in the Lost Kingdom. I'm still unclear on if I can tell what this tile is going to be from the way that it looks right now, so I just go ahead and place it and see what happens. We got another frame for our profile. And let's go back out and see if there's any other things that we need to collect. It looks like we do have some updates in the daily quest area, so let's do that. yet another profile frame. I'm getting quite a collection of those. Time to try playing against another human player. Let's go to a public online lobby. Once again, we can choose our preferred art style. We can also update our little avatar. So if we want to have a different color on your player piece, you could choose that now. And that'll also affect your castle. Looks like there are some other castle appearances to choose from, but they're all currently locked for me, so that's something to work toward. This round has different rule sets. Local business, get 5 extra points for each square of the correct terrain located around your castle. And also Bleak King, 10 points for each 5 square property that doesn't have a crown on it. So those seem a little more tricky than the one that I had last time. I decided just to try to get the best score that I can and not necessarily try to focus on those rule sets because those seem pretty challenging. Let's go ahead and jump forward again in time and see how I was doing in this game. Down to the final 4 tiles for placement. It's not looking good at this point, honestly. Well, let's see what the final tally says. Once again, I invested heavily in the lake territories. As expected, it just wasn't enough. Overall, I'm having a good time. I still have a lot to learn about the strategy, tile selection, and tile placement, as well as whether or not to employ strategies to try to get some of those extra points when they come along with special rule sets. I like both of the art styles that are available to play with, as well as the soundtrack. It definitely feels like a cozy game where I can hang out enjoying hours and hours of fun. I hope you've enjoyed taking this first look at Kingdomino with me. I'll put a link to the game down in the video description below. And as always, friends, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, take care of yourselves, be well. Bye for now from Ravvy at Ravvy Plays Games. See you soon.